This is the Husqvarna FE350s Dual Sport Heritage Edition, and it might well be the one bike that's at the top of every dual sport rider's I want list. It has a reputation for being nothing short of the greatest dual sport bike ever made. But we wonder how many riders know exactly what they are getting into with an FE350. There's a lot of misunderstanding out there and a lot to unpack here. The FE350s first appeared in 2015, and right from the start, it was based on the FC350 motocross bike. But Husqvarna still has to play by the rules. EPA homologation requires that a motorcycle be clean and quiet, so it has different cams, a different compression ratio, and a long list of measures to reduce sounds and emissions. It has a charcoal canister hidden in the frame, a reed valve in the intake boot, a restrictive muffler, and very lean mapping, among other things. All of that is monitored by an ECU that will flash a check engine light, just like your car, if anything isn't up to spec. Husqvarna usually keeps all its various models on the same page as its motocross bikes. When the MX bikes get new technology, the dual sport bikes follow about a year later. The exception was in 2025 when the MX bikes got subtle frame changes for less rigidity. The FE350s dual sport bike did not get that frame. The thinking was that dual sport suspension is so much softer than motocross suspension that subtle differences in frame flex are indistinguishable. The bike you see here is a 2025 Heritage Edition. It's technically a leftover model, but in this case, that's a very good thing. New models from the EU have import tariffs baked into the MSRP. The tax starts at 15%, and then there's an additional 50% for some raw materials, including steel. The manufacturers are eating some of the tax, but some of it is passed on to us. So even though this bike has an MSRP of $13,049, it's only going to go up when the warehouse runs low and the 2026 versions arrive. You should already know that a stock FE350s is far milder, quieter, and tamer than any of Husqvarna's competition models. That's fine. Even in a world where the EPA and DOT didn't exist, you wouldn't want the 350s to run like a race bike. In stock form, it's limited to around 30 horsepower. For most trail rides, the Husky's performance doesn't hold it back. Half of its owners will never change a thing. The real secret to its performance is that it's a very high quality 30 horsepower. It reaches max power at about 7,000 RPM, and then it just keeps going and going. So If you don't mind screaming the motor, you can get away without shifting for miles at a stretch. And at low revs, the 350 is super clean and well behaved. There are no pops and no hiccups. Husqvarna found the recipe to make ultra-lean EPA-blessed mapping work without any of the bad characteristics that we once thought were mandatory. At the end of the day, though, there's only so much you can do with 30 horsepower. It's not easy to lay out over $13,000 for a modern motorcycle that makes no more power than a 200 from the 80s. That's why about half of America's FE350s owners will go looking for more. We all know an FC350 makes over 50 horsepower, but federal and state lawmakers do not smile on any modifications that affect performance. So as far as they are concerned, the FE350s becomes a closed course competition vehicle once you tamper with it. But that path is well traveled if you choose to take it. The knee-jerk move is to remove the reed valve from the intake and modify or replace the exhaust system. If you do that and nothing else, the best case scenario is no improvement. The more common result is a decrease in performance and an increase in popping, stalling, and noise level. The lean mapping prevents any real gains. If you know a shop or a technician who can solve that issue by remapping the stock ECU, you're ahead of the game. With richer fuel delivery and spark advance changes, the motor can actually make use of those other modifications. JT Jetting offers a piggyback EFI modifier that allows more fuel into the motor. Get and Vortex make whole ignition replacements. How much can you expect? Most riders are happy to stop with a new end cap for the muffler, remapping, and maybe a new intake boot that does away with the reed valve. That will dramatically wake up the 350 in the mid-range and result in about 5 additional horsepower. If you want more than that, you can turn to cams, headwork, and whole exhaust systems. For us, the noise increase spoils all the fun. Also, be aware that almost any modifications result in a persistent check engine notification. Slave and Racing, Taco Moto, and a few other outfits sell dongles that will prevent that. The stock tires are also pretty street-oriented. They offer so little traction that the bike doesn't even need rim locks. When you replace the tires, add rim locks, just remember to balance the wheels. Also, the floppy stock license plate bracket will eventually get sucked into the rear wheel and send itself into space. It's fairly easy to trim it down, but you have to be somewhat clever about relocating the rear turn signals if you want to keep them. Many riders simply remove them or replace them with more compact aftermarket units. Another common modification is to defeat the self-retracting kickstand. This requires nothing more than a shorter kickstand bolt. A sprocket bolt will actually work. The stock mirrors also have to go. All stuff that's easy information once you are accepted into the dual sport underground. Other things don't have to be changed at all. The suspension, for example, is excellent. Up front, the FE comes with the best fork that WP has ever offered on a production off-road motorcycle. The exact coil spring fork is nothing short of brilliant. It's soft, of course, but that's what most riders want for trail riding, especially in the mountains out west or in the woods back east. Likewise, the rear suspension is superb for typical dual sport rides. Remember the frame change that was demanded on the motocross version? Not necessary here. Perhaps if you truly wanted to take the FE racing and stiffened up the suspension accordingly, you might be concerned with such things. But if you were to do that, it would make more sense to go for the less expensive FX350 in the first place. In the ultimate analysis, the FE350s is 2 different bikes to 2 different people. Some see it as a starting point on the road to a product that no manufacturer could ever offer, the street-legal race bike. Others see it as a final destination. In either case, the FE is a success. You just have to know what bike you want before you buy it. For more dual sport bikes, check back with us right here on YouTube or at dirtbikemagazine.com. Plus, you can still find us on the newsstand. I'm Ron Lawson. Thanks for watching.